Hi, I'm going to take a moment to tell you that like all my videos, this one too has links in the description. You could click, open and practice for yourself. You could also use these as resources for your practical file. To subscribe. We're going to look at data structures, lists, stacks and queues. Although I've already done an entire video on lists and you can find the link to that video in the description, we're going to just quickly revise lists which are used to store different types of data in sequential manner, and the addresses are assigned to each element of the list called index, which start from 0, go until the last element with the positive index. We also have negative indexing, which starts from -1, enabling you to access elements from last to first. You can create a list by assigning a variable to elements written within square brackets, and they're separated by commas. The elements can have any data type, including list or tuples. And you can also extend or add elements to a list using append, extend, or insert method. We start by assigning a set of values to the variable new underscore list. We can use the append method, to which we pass a single element, and that gets added to the end of new underscore list. We can also add a list which will be added to new underscore list as an element at the end of the list. In the extend method, we pass a list and the elements of this list are added to the end of our new underscore list. Insert method has two parameters: the element which is going to be placed at an index which is provided. In this case, we are going to add 200 at second place. When we execute this, we'll see that we started with 3 elements in the list. We added one more, that is 100, at the end of the list. Append also added a list at the end of the list. We added 2 more elements using method extend. We used the insert method to add 200 at second place. You can access elements from a list using a for loop, which is also called traversing a list. You can pass the index value or an interval of index values to obtain elements as needed from the list. This is also called indexing and slicing a list. We can access a list in multiple ways. We can use a for loop, which looks at each element of the list and can output it. This is called traversing a list. We can simply print the list, or we can use an index to specify the element that we want. We can use slicing, where we give an interval, and in this case, it starts from one index and goes up to one less than the index given. We can use the negative indexes for slicing. We can also use double colon and -1. In this case, it is going to reverse all the elements in the list. When we execute, we'll see that the for loop has output all the elements of the list. We have the entire list using the print statement. We output the 4th element using index 3, and we can use slicing to output various elements from the list. We can also reverse the list using double colon and -1. To delete elements from a list, you can use the del keyword, or you could use methods pop or remove. We're now going to remove elements from a list using the keyword del, the methods remove, pop, and clear. We start with a list which has 8 elements. We are going to use the keyword del and remove the element at index 2. We then use the method remove, pass the value of the element which we want to remove. We can use the pop method and pass the index of the value which we want removed, and this will return that removed value or the deleted value. If we do not pass an index to the pop method, it will remove the last element from the list. We use the method clear to empty the list. So when we execute this, we'll see that it starts off with 8 elements, then it removes the element from index 2, that is 10. Then it removes the element data from this list and it pops the element at index 2, which is 30. And again, when we use pop without passing any index, it removes 200, which is the last element. And in the end, when we try to print the list, it's empty because we use the clear method. We now look at a user-defined data type, which is queues. And this is a special type of list which behaves exactly like a queue. That is, the first to enter is also the first to leave. For example, if you have a printer and you're giving an order for printing, the document that goes in first is the one which is printed first, and the last to enter the queue is the one which is going to print in the end. In a queue, we follow the first in, first out principle. We can add an element to the queue only at the last index. Let us look at the main operations in a queue. We start with enqueue, which is adding an element to the end of the queue. We're going to use the append method for this. We'll start by creating a queue. We use the enqueue operation to insert items to a list. This is simply done by starting off with an empty list and using the append method and passing the value for the element to the queue. When we execute, we'll notice that each time an element is added to the end of the queue. Another operation is dequeue, which removes an element from the beginning of the queue. We're going to use pop and give the index 0 to remove the element from the first place. We'll now look at the dequeue operation where we've got a list of 4 elements and we're going to remove each element from this list from the first place. When we execute this, we'll notice that each time the first element is being removed till we have an empty list. In case we try to remove an element from an empty queue, then it will give us an error pop from an empty list, which is also called underflow. Other terms associated with queue are peek, which is looking at the first or front value without removing it from the queue. Traverse or display is looking at all the values of a queue. Underflow refers to a situation when we are trying to dequeue or delete an element from a queue which is already empty. Overflow refers to a situation when we are trying to add or enqueue an item to the queue and it's already full, and this can happen when we fixed the size of the queue or if the memory is full. We look at an example where we start with an empty queue and we're going to use a while loop which is going to take a user input. Depending on the user input, we will enqueue, dequeue, peek, or display from a queue. We also have the option to exit from the queue. We define 4 functions. The first one to add to the queue, which takes parameters q and x. And we've also fixed the length of the queue as 4. So in case the user inputs more elements, it's going to give us an error overflow. Otherwise, it will append to the queue. Pop_queue function will check if the queue is already empty. And if it is, then it's going to give us error underflow. Otherwise, it will delete the first element from the queue. Peek_queue will present the first element or output the first element of the queue. Display_queue will output the queue in case it is not empty. Using a for loop, it will display each element from the queue. When we input 1 and input the elements of the queue, so here we've input 5 elements, so it's going to give us an overflow error. Then we're going to display the queue. We can also peek, that is look at the first element of the queue. We're going to input 2, that is for dequeue. We again display the queue and in the end, we're going to exit. When we execute this, we'll notice that we've entered choice 1 and added 5 elements to the queue. So it's going to give us an error overflow. We enter the choice 4 and it's going to display all the elements of the queue. We enter choice 3, it is going to display the first element of the queue. And when we're going to enter choice 2, it's going to delete an element from the queue. And once we display it in the next time, we'll see that there are only 3 elements now in the queue. We then enter the choice 5, that is to exit. We'll also look at another user-defined data structure, which is stacks. It's another special list which behaves exactly like a stack. The last one to enter is the first one to leave. So it's also following the last in, first out principle. Any additions to the stack are only at the end or the last index. We can also remove an element from the stack only from the last or the end index. The main operations in stack are push and pop. Push adds an element to the top or the last index of the stack, and we use append method to do this. Pop removes the element from top of the stack or the last element is removed, and we use pop without passing any index to remove the last element from a stack. We'll now look at the push and pop operations for a stack. We start by defining an empty list to which we'll use append method to add at the end of the list. We'll also use the pop method without passing any index, so it deletes from the end of the list. So with these 2 operations, the list will now be converted into a stack. Some other terms associated with stack are peek, which is displaying the last or the top element of the stack. Traverse or display is displaying all elements of the stack. Underflow refers to a situation where we are trying to pop or delete an item from an empty stack. Overflow refers to a situation when we are trying to push or add an item to a stack that is full, and this can happen if the size of the stack is fixed or the memory is full. We're going to look at a similar example for stack where we are going to take a user input, and depending on the user input, we'll push, pop, peek, or traverse a stack, and we also have the option to exit from this program. We start by defining an empty stack, which we are going to pass as parameter to the various functions we've defined. We start with push underscore stack, which has a parameter stack and an element which has to be added to this stack. We fix the length of the stack as 4, and in case the user tries to input more to the stack, it's going to give an error overflow. Otherwise, it will append the element to the stack. Pop underscore stack is going to take the stack as parameter, and it's going to check if the stack is empty. In case it is, then it's going to give us an error underflow. Otherwise, it will delete from the end of the stack. We have peek underscore stack, which is going to output the first element of the stack. We also have traverse underscore stack, which is going to check whether the stack is empty or not. And if it's not empty, it's using a for loop to check each element of this stack and output it. We're going to start by giving the choice as 1 and input these elements to a stack. We'll also use the choice 4 to display elements from the stack, 3 to display the first element, 2 to delete an element from the stack, and again display the stack. In the end, we'll exit. When we execute, we'll notice that when we choose 1 and add 5 elements to the stack, it's going to give us an error overflow. When we enter choice 4, it's going to output the 4 elements from the stack. If we enter choices 3, it's going to output the first element from the stack. And if we enter the choice as it's deleting from the stack, if we again display the stack, we'll notice that now we have only 3 elements in the stack, and then we exit from this. I hope you've understood. You can always click on the links, practice the program yourself, and do keep watching. Bye-bye.